Designing the collection has not been something I necessarily dreamed of doing all my life. It actually happened almost by default. Through the past several 10 years or more, I have been designing dresses privately for my retail couture salons that I own, but I just kept the dresses there at Nolte's Bridal, and more designers and representatives were saying, you really ought to consider designing a line of your own. So finally this year I decided to throw my hat in the ring, thought that I'd give it a go, and through the connections that I have and the support of National Bridal Service, who handles the distribution of the gowns for me, I decided to go ahead and design a line of gowns, and we're off and running. I think designing is sort of a natural for me because I started in my industry as a wedding photographer, and so how things look visually was perhaps easier for me than it is for just the normal gown guy. I would oftentimes think about how a gown would look in photographs in terms of it standing or walking or turning or dancing, and I would then be able to increase the fullness at the back or put more detail on the neckline. And the concept of visualizing a dress and then making it come to life was actually pretty easy for me. The gowns for this first inaugural season were named for my 3 daughters, which then provides me with 6 names, a first name and a middle name, also my wife, and all of the members of my staff that are full-time that are a part of this new chapter in my career. So that's where all the names come from. As I was watching the models come out on stage last night from my backstage seat, and I would watch each one of the models there in the wings, I would say to myself, that's my favorite dress. And then the next model would come up and go, no, that's really my favorite gown. And then the next model would come and I went, what am I thinking? Of course this is my favorite gown. I really do love them all for different reasons. I think the dresses with the plain trains are okay until you put the matching embroidered veil over the top of that plain train, and then I go, wow, what a look. I'm kind of a nut for lace, and so any of the dresses that have lace I particularly love. I also know the photographic advantages of having the lining of the gown be a shade deeper than the overlay. So any of the dresses that have perhaps a champagne lining or a blush pink lining with white or ivory lace over it, I know that dress is going to photograph beautifully. So in all honesty, I don't think I have a favorite. I love them all. I love them all for different reasons. If there was a cathedral wedding, there's particular dresses that would be great for that. If it was an outdoor lawn or garden wedding, there's other dresses that would be better for that. If it's a destination wedding on a beach, there's a dress that's wonderful for that. On the aisle now in a dress that's under $1,000. But there are not many manufacturers and designers who are focusing on dresses then that fit in the middle there between $1,000 and $3,000, and that's sort of where the Michael Nolte collection fits in. My latest collection was inspired by the fact that I knew we needed to have multiple silhouettes. I knew that I needed to have ball gowns because that's probably the most popular style. I needed to also have A-line skirts. Trumpet skirts are coming on strong, and again, I mentioned that we have beautiful veils in the collection. There are 4 phenomenal veils filled with embroidery or lace or crystals or a combination of the above. And those beautiful long cathedral veils can be worn with a trainless gown. They can be worn with a gown that has an existing train. And I think that the inspiration came from the fact that I wanted to be able to have a dress for every body type. I wanted to have a silhouette for every bride that came into a salon that was carrying the collection. That there isn't a dress out there that does what these gowns do. For instance, I have 2 of the dresses that have detachable trains. I can't think of another dress that's in the market right now that has a detachable train. That's sort of a throwback to the 70s when detachable trains were very popular, but they're actually quite practical as well. And it has a 9-foot train that is 6 feet wide, and actually one of the other nice advantages of the Michael Nolte collection is that many of the dresses can be customized. So if a bride would like that train to be even longer, it can be. The lace is designed in such a way that we could extend that as far as the bride would like it to go. Actually, I thought in debuting this collection that at best, all I could handle, all I could hope for and all I could handle would be if we would maybe open 20 accounts. Because I have other hats that I wear as a speaker and an author, a wedding coordinator, I run 2 retail operations. I have 3 daughters and a marriage and friends, and I want to be good in all those capacities. I just thought I cannot be really, really good as a designer and a wholesaler if I have more than 20 accounts this first season. But I really didn't have much choice when it was like opening the floodgates and the gowns were received with an overwhelming response that surprised me beyond my imagination.
Please make welcome Mr. Michael Nolte.